let's kick off the questioning with taxes. Last year, voters rejected a 3-mil property tax increase. Do you support raising taxes? Why or why not? All right, Mr. Frank, you can go ahead.
No. I'm not going to say that I support raising taxes. I believe that Seven Hills does have some financial issues. I also believe that several of those financial issues were actually built and incepted from the state's cutbacks last year in both the estate taxes and the sales tax. I believe that we have to look to firmer, better commercialization, bringing in businesses, the proper businesses, not the wrong businesses, but the proper businesses. And that is what we need to look at before we even consider taking another dime from a resident.
Great. Mr. Petro?
Like I said, I've been here my whole life, and I've seen the way businesses operate. I'm a businessman. I own my own business, and I believe I am for commercialization, but this community is not that in tune to it. We're 95% built up. I would love to have business come in here, but I do believe we should be more streamlined. I think that we should be cutting our overhead, and I think there's a lot there. I did work in the service department for 7 years. I know how it operates. I know how it should be, and that is my opinion. I think, you know, commercialization I'm fine with, but I do believe that we have to be administered better.
All right, Councilman Snitzky?
We need to enhance revenue. We need to do everything we can do to enhance revenue through commercial development before we come to the people and ask them for more money. The Rockside Road Development Project is our last best hope to really be able to do this. You know, I've been involved in a lot of that with the Planning, Zoning, and Building Committee, and working with the Planning Commission and the Zoning Board. There's some real good things that are percolating as far as getting something going down there on Rockside Road, regionalizing in conjunction with the City of Independence. There's good things happening. One of the reasons we went to the voters for the police levy is because at that time there really wasn't anything happening on Rockside Road. You know, we need revenue. There's no doubt about it. There's very few places left to cut, if any. So I'm very much so for commercial development, and Rockside Road is where it's got to happen. It's just the last best place for it to happen.
Great. Mr. Kukral?
Well, to answer your question, no, absolutely. We don't want to raise taxes, but here's the problem. We have a city in the budget that is spending $700,000 more than it brings in this year, okay? So we have what we call in the city a general fund, which is essentially the city's savings account. So I think it's close to $2 to $3 million. I don't have the exact number there. Now, if you do the math, if we keep spending more than we take in every single year, what happens? In about 2 to 3 years from now, you're going to have politicians coming back and saying, oh, we need a property tax levy. Now, we do need to cut some more spending. I disagree with Mr. Snitzky. There are other places we can cut spending in the city. We can get more creative with bringing revenue back to the city. And also, keeping track of the businesses that are leaving the city. We recently lost a business that was one of our top tax producers, and we lost them to neighboring independents, and we cannot continue to let that happen.
All right. Mr. Wallace?
I don't think we should raise taxes. No, I don't. I think we already pay too much as it is. We need to do everything we can to encourage businesses to come into Seven Hills, to thrive, to bring money in. And I think one of the ways we can do that is we work with cities like Independence. We find collaborative ways of working together. So we look at it almost like a quasi-regionalism where we share some resources, but we still maintain control and really work together to bring more businesses in to thrive in Seven Hills.
All right. Councilman Fraundorf?
Thank you, Maura. I think we're all in agreement. No one really wants to see taxes raised in Seven Hills. And you know, it's certain that residents feel that their property taxes are far too high, and that goes without saying. But I would also agree with Jim. There are things that we can do. We're spending $700,000 more than we're bringing in. We have a general operating budget of $8 million, and I can guarantee you that there's at least a couple $100,000 of cuts that can be made easily out of that $8 million budget. In addition to that, part of the problem that I hear, you know, on this panel is that, once again, we're kicking the can down the road. And I've said this time and time again, we're kicking this can down the road. And with all due respect to the development on Rockside Road, that's not going to happen in time to save Seven Hills. We have 2 to 3 years. If a shovel went in the ground, you know, at the earliest, say next year, it's not going to impact what's happening currently. So we have to look at the possibility of some sort of a tax. And my personal view is that it's an income tax, and I have a plan that will actually give people that live in Seven Hills but work outside of Seven Hills a income tax decrease, and those people that live outside of Seven Hills and work inside of Seven Hills can generate that $600,000 to $700,000 deficit that we face today.